This is Alpha, a unique perspective on the market. Let's follow the chart trends of the sentimental money model and dive into today's pre-market observations on the U.S. stock market. Previous trading day. On Thursday, August 28th, the U.S. stock market continued its upward trend, with both the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average reaching record closing highs. The S&P 500 rose 0.35%, its 20th new high this year. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.17%, with the Nasdaq 100 leading the gains, rising 0.63%. Sectors. The market rose broadly, with technology, XLK, up 0.79%, energy, XLE, up 0.76%, and financials, XLF, up 0.13%. However, defensive consumer staples, XLP, and utilities, XLU, sectors declined. Increasing risk appetite in the market drove up U.S. Treasury prices, with the 10-year Treasury yield falling back to 4.206%. The U.S. dollar index weakened, and the gold ETF, GLD, rose 0.74%. Cryptocurrency markets came under pressure, with the Bitcoin ETF, IBAT, down 0.11%, and the Ethereum ETF, ETHA, down 2.86%. Although Nvidia, the world's most valuable company, forecast a slowdown in demand for its AI chips in its earnings report released after the market closed on Wednesday, causing its stock price to fall 0.8% on Thursday, Wall Street appeared to have largely digested the news, preventing a widespread sell-off. A key driver of the market's gains that day was an unexpected upward revision to the U.S. second quarter gross domestic product, GDP, estimate, which provided a positive signal. Earnings reports from retailers were mixed, with discount retailer Dollar General rising on positive earnings, while Dick's Sporting Goods saw its stock price fall. The Federal Reserve turmoil continues. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook formally sued President Trump on Thursday, seeking to prevent him from firing her, continuing the ongoing battle between the administration and the legislature. Next, let's take a look at some noteworthy stock news today. First, chip design company Marvell Technology, MRVL, just delivered a strong quarterly report, but the market's reaction was somewhat disappointing. According to the financial report, second quarter revenue reached a record $2.006 billion, a 58% year-over-year increase. Non-GAAP earnings per share were 67 cents, a 123% year-over-year surge. This strong growth was primarily driven by booming demand for AI, with revenue from its data center business surging 69% year-over-year and now accounting for 74% of the company's total revenue. So why did the stock price plummet 8% after hours despite such strong results? The problem lies in the company's outlook. Marvell provided third-quarter revenue guidance of $2.06 billion. While this still represents a 36% year-over-year increase, it was slightly below the consensus Wall Street analyst estimate of $2.1 billion. In today's market, where expectations for AI stocks are sky-high, simply being good may no longer be enough. Being impeccable is essential. Even slightly below expected future guidance can be enough to disappoint investors and trigger a sharp stock price correction. This is a classic example of the saying, the higher the expectations, the harder the fall, in the current AI boom. Second news. Rocket Lab, Nasdaq, RKLB, today announced the official opening of Launch Complex 3 at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Spaceport on Wallops Island, Virginia. Built in less than 2 years and employing over 60 local employees, the launch site will serve as the dedicated testing, launch, and landing site for the company's next-generation reusable rocket, the Neutron. The Neutron rocket represents a key step in Rocket Lab's transition from small to medium lift capabilities, with a payload capacity of up to 13,000 kilograms. The opening of Launch Complex 3 marks a key milestone on the Neutron's path to its first launch. In the future, the launch site will support commercial constellations, national security, interstellar exploration, and ultimately, human spaceflight missions, marking a crucial step forward in expanding the United States' domestic launch capabilities. Third news. Finally, let's discuss the quantum computing company Rigetti Computing, RGTI, whose stock has become a love-hate relationship for investors. On the bright side, the company's technology continues to advance with the development of its CFUs, one system being considered a significant milestone that has successfully reduced error rates and paved the way for the company's future goal of 1,000 qubits. Wall Street analysts are generally optimistic, with firms like Benchmark and Needham giving the company buy ratings and price targets of $18 to $20, significantly higher than its current share price of approximately $15.39. However, the company's other side is deeply concerning. Its financial data reveals disturbing growth metrics, with second quarter revenue plummeting 37.19% year-over-year and operating margins reaching a staggering negative 976.08%. Here's the most interesting part. While revenue continues to decline, valuations are skyrocketing. Data shows that the company's price-to-sales ratio soared from 11.87 to a staggering 591.88 times within a year. This 50-fold increase in valuation amidst declining revenues is a significant risk signal. Furthermore, company insiders have recently been selling their own shares, selling over $2.5 million in 4 transactions in mid-August. Now let's look at the FS model analysis results and see what specific trading actions should be taken in the U.S. stock market today. Please note, this model does not fully account for the impact of current market news. It is merely an internally generated analysis and does not constitute investment advice. First, let's model the top 200 stocks in the S&P 500. Today's trading activity is as follows. Stocks bought. None. Stocks sold. WM 224.58. Stocks held. ASO 4197.09. MCK 681.02. BSX 105.75. WMB 58.0. KMI 27.01. LNG 242.14. Orly 103.99. Over the past year, this strategy has outperformed the S&P 500 fund SPY by 15.82% in this group of stocks. Next, let's model the top 200 stocks in the S&P Midcap 400. Today's trading activity is as follows. Stocks bought. None. Stocks sold. None. Stocks held. TKO 190.14. UNM 69.32. Over the past year, this strategy has outperformed the S&P 500 SPY fund by 24.34% in this category. Finally, we modeled and analyzed the top 200 stocks in the S&P Small Cap 600 Index. Today's trading actions are as follows. Stocks bought. None. Stocks sold. RDN 34.66. Stocks held. CNR 72.84. EAT 155.53. Over the past year, this strategy has outperformed the S&P 500 SPY fund by minus 1.01% in this category. Okay, the above information is just a few perspectives on the market and does not represent the entire reality. Please consider all valuable information and consider your investment and trading strategies accordingly.